Welcome you all again in the certificate course on instrumental analysis and techniques in the chemistry. In today's session, we will discuss about the different safety symbols which are very necessary to be obeyed on each of the container on each of the box, on each of the chemical box. There is specific symbol which represents whether that chemical is hazardous, is radioactive, is non-toxic or the toxic or it is corrosive and so on. There are large number of these symbols. As we all know, when we walk on the road, there are many symbols which are related with the our life safety. These are the road safety rules, road safety symbols. We all must have to follow the road safety symbols to protect our life, to protect the life of the others. We must always follow all type of the rules which are being provided by the government. Simultaneously, at the same time, our nature also stated कि must follow all the rules to protect me here, the nature भी अपने आप को बचाने के लिए इंसान से कुछ रूल्स को फॉलो करने के लिए कहती है कि आप अपनी एक्स्ट्रा एक्टिविटीज को रोक दें, आप प्लांट्स को कट ना करें, you must have to grow more plants, but we are generally not following these nature's rule. We are denying these nature's rule. Because of that, the pollution is going around us and we are living in that highly polluted environment. So it is the need of the hour that we must follow all the basic rules. Simultaneously, in today's session, we will discuss what are the different safety symbols which we must all follow during the entrance in the chemistry laboratory. So let's start today's session. Hopefully you are enjoying in all the previous session. You gain a lot from all the sessions. The safety symbols and the MSDS. हमने MSDS के बारे में पहले भी आपके साथ डिस्कस किया था. Mainly in today's session, we will discuss about the safety symbols. In the laboratory training, which is the integral part of the science education, during the laboratory training, there are some main aspects which are to be involved. That aspect is the safety symbols. The laboratory training involves the experimentation, which involves the observation, testing, and the reproducibility of the data that is collected during the laboratory investigation. And very important issue with the laboratory training is the safety of the students. And for that safety, we must all follow, we must all have to follow these safety rules. We must all have to follow, we all must have to learn these safety rules. हमें इन safety rules को सभी को याद करना है. By inculcating these safety practices in the laboratory training, which is a very important aspect of the education for the students, we all must have to create an awareness about these safe laboratory practices, about the first aid measures, which are very crucial for the safe laboratory experiences. We are learning all these aspects in different sessions. In the current session, we will learn about the safety symbols which are to be assigned by the chemical industry officials in the form of the label on each of the chemical box. In the chemistry laboratory, the student deals with a large number of chemicals during the experimentation process. These chemicals must be used with utmost care as these are dangerous for the human exposure. We must all have complete knowledge in identifying the safety symbols available on the chemical bottles and on different instruments that are used in the chemistry laboratory, along with the concept of the MSDS, Material Safety Data Sheet, के कुछ बेसिक रूल्स, बेसिक नियम हैं जो हमें याद रखने ही होंगे. In the chemistry laboratory, we generally used the different apparels, and these are lab coat, gloves, safety shoes, the goggles. The main discussion of the today's session is the safety symbols in the laboratory. Now we are going to discuss about these all safety symbols in the chemistry laboratory. A large number of chemicals and the instruments are available in the chemistry laboratory. The safe handling of all these require the adequate knowledge about the safety measures which are being associated with during the handling, during the uses of these chemicals and the instrument during the experimentation process, which are being available in our chemistry laboratory. The different symbols which are being generally provided on the chemical bottles, these are, the first symbol is that if that symbol you seen on any of the chemical bottle which represents that chemical is low hazard chemical that are relatively easy to handle, but remember that excess of every chemical can be hazardous to our life. If we take water in very large amount, then that also be hazardous for us. Every chemical have something safe limit. Safe limit is, limit means the limit above which if you will use that chemical, then that will be come in the category of the dangerous chemical. So you all must have the complete knowledge about the safe limit of that chemical. The next symbol, that particular symbol represents that that chemical is explosive chemical that can cause an explosion, and they contain greater amount of stored energy and should therefore be handled carefully. The next symbol, that represent that it is a flammable chemical which can catch fire easily under a given set of condition, and that must therefore be used with utmost care. That particular symbol represents it is an oxidizing chemical. Their nature is oxidizing, and it may lead to a highly exothermic reaction when they are in contact with the other chemicals, particularly the flammable one. So they should be stored in a cool place away from the flammable chemicals or the objects. This symbol represents it is a very dangerous one when it is kept in a wet condition. When wet chemicals that react violently with the water or any other liquid, so use them under the anhydrous condition. It is very dangerous when it in the wet condition. So always keep in mind that these type of chemicals must be kept in anhydrous condition, must be kept under the anhydrous condition. That particular symbol, that symbol represents the gases under the pressure used for the compressed gases, liquefied gases, refrigerated liquefied gases, and the dissolved gases. You can easily see that particular symbol in your neighborhood areas also, because the government have undergrounded a high pressure pipe through a particular area where you can see that in that particular area the high pressure gas is being passing through the pipes. So don't dug that particular area without the permission of the higher authorities. That a symbol that represents the chemical is corrosive, highly reactive chemical that damage human tissues. So wear gloves while handling such type of chemicals on those chemicals on which you find to label such a symbol. That symbol, that is electrometry. Tear causes chemicals. When you use such type of chemicals, a lot of tears will come out from your eyes. So wear safety glasses and maintain a suitable distance from such type of chemicals. The next symbol that represents that these type of chemicals are harmful, irritant chemicals, and these can cause inflammable, means the reddishness, the pain or the swelling on your living tissues. So they must be used in an appropriate amount. We all must have to follow the 3R principle: reduce, reuse, and the recycle. The first point is reduce. So that point is highly applicable for such type of chemicals, to use the chemical in a very least amount. Never use the chemical in higher amount. Take the amount only to such an extent that is only sufficient to cause the result. That symbol that represents such type of chemicals are toxic one. They are highly poisonous and can damage an exposed part of the body. The next symbol that represents these are narcotic, psychoactive chemicals that induce sleep, and therefore their excess uses can cause tremors or the seizures. That next symbol that represents these type of chemicals are also highly dangerous to our environment, that cause a highly danger to the life, to the human beings, to all the living organisms. They should not be thrown in the laboratory sinks or the dustbins without the permission of the laboratory persons. That symbol represents that is highly carcinogenic one, like the benzene and other aromatic compounds which are being present in the laboratory. That symbol generally to be found labeled on these boxes. So these are highly carcinogenic and cancer causing chemicals, and that can readily enter human tissues and seriously disturb the body's complex processes. Next symbol that represent these chemicals are radioactive one, highly reactive chemicals that can be fatal to the life even if used in minute quantity depending upon their half-life. There is a very dreadful incidents in the Delhi when some of the persons which are cleaning in the underground sewerage pipes get died during the cleanness, because there it is to be found that there is something radioactive substance. After the highly investigation processes, by undergoing the very highly sensitive processes, very highly investigation processes, it is found that from one of the institutions it is to be thrown out in the sewerage, which causes the death of these respectable persons. So always keep in mind, can never throw such type of chemicals anywhere, because these can be fatal to the life. Next symbol that represents it is biohazard chemical. Biohazard means they are very harmful to the bio means living organisms, also for the microorganisms which can potentially harmful or even kill these living organisms. So it is always been recommended that you always wear a face mask and the antibacterial gloves when dealing with such substances. Now there are some hazardous surfaces or the areas symbols. That symbol represent that particular area or the surface is hotter one. So that represents that surface area is the hot surface. This sign warns you that equipment and the apparatus besides you may be extremely hot and can severely burn you. If you see this sign on a piece of apparatus, don't touch it. You will get severely burnt. Next symbol that represents the low temperature. This sign indicates very low temperature, much lower than the freezing point. You must find this symbol in chemical storage areas for storing liquid nitrogen and the other chemicals. Don't enter these areas without the supervision of the scientist or the chemical teachers, chemistry faculty. chemistry lab attendant, and without appropriate protection. Next symbol that represents a very high voltage area. Always stay clear of areas marked with this sign, as in coming in contact with the electricity will mean serious injury or the death. That symbol represents a laser beam hazard. Letting your skin to come in direct contact with a laser beam can be highly dangerous and can have some disastrous consequences. Eye is the most susceptible one, which can cause partial or the complete blindness. Next symbol represents that a eye wash station emergency may occur at any of the instance at any of the time during the experimentation process, so we generally have to requirement of that particular area for the eye wash. So that particular symbol represents the eye wash station emergency. Eye wash station use water to flush injurious or the corrosive materials from the eyes in case of an accident. A material safety data sheet (MSDS) is a technical document that contains information on the potential hazard, health, fire, reactivity, and the environment, and how to work safely with the chemical products. It also contains the information on the use, storage, handling, and emergency procedures, all related to the hazards of the material. The MSDS contains much more information about the material than the level one. MSDS are prepared by the supplier, by the manufacturing industry. It is intended to tell what the hazard of the product are, how to use the product safely, and what to expect if the recommendations are not being followed, what to do if the accident occur, how to recognize the symptoms of the overexposure, and what to do if such incidents occur. So that is all about these symbols and the MSDS. So always keep on following these type of rules which are being provided by the MSDS, and also follows the safety symbols rules like the road safety rules. Thank you. Perhaps you enjoying a lot in all the sessions in the certificate course which are being organized by our Department of Chemistry. Thank you.